Hello, welcome to Arua Organic Agricultural Center, Arua City. This is part of Meridian Tobacco Company, a social responsibility program where we're producing over 40 different species of crops on 7 acres of land. And we're doing this basically for the purpose of helping the community curb some of the challenges that the subsistence farmer in West Nile is facing. Organic is the way to go right now. Matter of fact that we've seen a lot being associated with inorganic foods and crops that are being produced in the country at large today. So we look at everything being done organic. When I talk about organic, no chemical, not even a drop of a chemical. Yes. What is the key important thing? Good agricultural practices. When you give your soil all that it needs, and in return it's going to give this to the crops that you grow, it's the most important thing that we're doing right here. Then basically the varieties perhaps. Well, they are good varieties and they have adopted to the West Nile, so that's why I should say you can look at the size of a cabbage that I'm having right here. And
forward it to me.
Yes, you can also look at the watermelons that we have here. Quite big, interesting fruits. You can look at the passion fruit that we're having here too. Really awesome. All organic. Keyword, organic.
And you can actually work out with this, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a gym ball.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right here, this is what we have, is our orchard. And it's one of the incentives we're trying to share with our farmers. You don't have enough land, but you can utilize the smallest piece of land that you have to see that you can produce a variety of fruits. And like I've seen, we have lines of papaya. That's the pawpaw, the common pawpaw. But underneath it, we've also made sure that we've put it to use. And we have planted at least a number of watermelons, of which I know we're utilizing this space properly to have watermelons, papaya. At the same time, we have the zabibu common plant. We have mangoes, we have oranges, we have lemons, and it's amazing. The most important thing that you should know as a farmer is good agricultural practices. We give these fruits a lot of manure, a lot of compost manure. So if you adopt, trust me, this is the kind of fruit that you're going to be having at the end of the day. A papaya that is organically raised at this size. You can imagine the wonders that we're looking at as farmers. So please, adopt. Let's have a lot of tobacco manure. When I talk about a lot of manure, this is the example of the organic manure I'm talking about. This is basically what we give to these fruits that they are growing. And you can see the dark stuff that we have around every single tree. This is our main source of the nutrients that you see are enlarging or giving us very big fruits. And still, underutilization of the land, since we no longer have a lot of land, you can see that underneath we've planted a line of ginger. This is ginger, and it's growing awesomely under these very good moist and fertile soils. When it comes to the agribusiness part of it, this is money. If you look at the number of papayas I have here, number of papayas I have on the next branch, have on the next tree, at most a number of around 150 trees that I have in this particular small area. If each is giving me around 50 fruits in the 2-3 seasons that I have in a year, you can imagine how much I'm making when I'm selling each pawpaw or each papaya at 3,000 Ugandan shillings, ranging on the size and the price in the market. Still under our orchard, after the papayas, you can basically see that we have the brother hat, or what people basically call the sour sop. And closely, if you look, someone might say that we have totally compacted this. But no, we're trying to use the utmost space. We want to use this space properly that we could get the best yield out of it. Meaning, these papayas are going to be phasing out after a period of 2 to 3 years. And the spacing that we've used of 3 meters between the brother hat and 3 meters between the papayas. When the papayas leave, they're going to leave a very good space for that is the remaining fruits that will go on year in and year out. So papayas, short-lived, the rest of the other fruits are going to be long-lived. Passion fruit, here we have the local breed. It's a very good breed, yellow in color, not so, consumed by the local person, but it has money. It grows very wild and big. Passion fruits are meant to be staked up, supported, and that's when they can yield and give you all that you want out of passion fruit. So we're using the locally cheap available materials. This, but other people prefer using a fish net. And well, the other good agriculture practice that we're doing on the passion fruit is that on the main stem, we're only leaving practically only 3 very good veins. So we do a lot of pruning underneath this passion fruit. It's a point whereby we have harvested majority of it, of which actually, as I speak now, our second harvest has given us over 700 kilograms of passion fruit. So if a kilogram is giving you 1,000 shillings, how much money have you made just in this smallest spot that you have on your land? Well, right here we have what we basically call the syntropic forest. What is the syntropic forest? Well, adamantly our farmers continue to cut quite a lot of trees, and they don't look at the aspect of climate change, which is affecting agriculture so very much in the current world today. So here we share a simple technique of the syntropic forest, whereby trees can accommodate crops underneath them. Like clearly you can see, we have very, very beautiful trees, but underneath them we have coffee growing, we have pumpkins growing, we have cocoa down on the other side. All these, the only essence you need to know is which are shade-loving crops. We have, for example, ginger, shade-loving. We have coffee, shade-loving. Bananas too are actually shade-loving. So you can utilize the smallest piece of land that you have, whereby the trees are giving you the timber, they are giving you the firewood, they are giving you the charcoal that maybe perhaps you want. That's basically if you're still using that. And at the same time, underneath them, you're having your coffee, you're having your pumpkins, you're having your bananas, cocoa, and they concurrently, survive in the same piece of land. So our farmers out there, please, don't cut a tree, but perhaps grow crops under the trees, because we basically know, or we so much know, that these trees are so very important when it comes to the climate of the region of West Nile and Arua at large. Well, coffee is not so commonly grown in West Nile, but it's also a culture that I think we're trying to push into our farmers. Coffee is gold. Farmers, if you embark in coffee in this current world, in this current Uganda today, coffee is one of the leading exports. I think one of the biggest exports the country Uganda apparently has. So farmers out there, please, coffee can grow in West Nile and can do well in every single condition. So it's all about you knowing which particular coffee you're growing for which particular area. We want to change the mentality of our farmers surviving on subsistence farming, and also exponent and expand and venture into other bigger enterprises that can give them actually much more money, and we can have the saying that farming is money in West Nile. In the spices and herbal corner, we're having over 50 different spices that we could use on a daily basis, ranging from rosemary to coriander to parsley to mint, of which there's been that slow trend of how our farmers are adopting to such. And at Arua Organic Agricultural Center, actually, we have all these. Rosemary, we all know what rosemary has. Rosemary has been one of actually most of the promoted spices in the country today, where we have companies that are buying and exporting rosemary. Most of these have antioxidants that are helping, generate more and build up on the immunity of the body. So we always emphasize to our farmers who come to Arua Organic Agricultural Center for training to at least embrace. Pick 1, 2, 3 seedlings of rosemary, plant them, have it in your tea, have it in your meals. Not only rosemary, but also we have parsley, very common spices, I should say, used by very many out there, but still the subsistence farmer down in the village in West Nile doesn't really know much about parsley, doesn't know the health benefits of parsley. We too also have beetroot. I'll get us one tuber. You can look at the size of beetroot that we have. All this is organically grown. This zeroes back to the good agricultural practices. And when you talk about good agricultural practices, look all over our site. Mulching is key. We make sure that we mulch everything. We mulch every single plant. How has mulching helped us? Water retention, covering the soil. The mulch itself decomposes after a period of 3 to 4 months and gives us the manure that we need, or the humus, or the organic manure that we need. We have the mints over here, chocolate mint, we have peppermint, black mint, pineapple mint, all these types of mint, we have them down here. We have lavender, a very beautiful plant, so common today that we see it used in very many of our soaps. We have soap made out of lavender, we have Vim actually made out of lavender, we have Jik where lavender still is also being put. Underneath it we have strawberries, very nice fruit, very sweet fruit that is used in actually most of, spicing of the drinks that we're having. We heard of milk, strawberry flavor, yogurt, strawberry flavor, chewing gum, strawberry flavor. So this is helping us flavor quite a lot of things. But in West Nile, very hard to find a farmer growing strawberries. So you can still grow strawberries in West Nile, and it really performs so very, very good. On the other side, commonly known as mujaja, or you can call it the basil. Very interesting. These are so very important in our daily meals. You can have them as they are herbal and they contain antioxidants, which in the run or in the long run help fight against quite a lot of diseases in our bodies. Not only also build on and help on our immunity. So this is our spices and the herbal corner, of which whoever farmer visits us at Arua Organic Agricultural Center, we emphasize, please have maybe a 5 meter by 10 meter or maybe a 2 meter by 3 meters where you can plant all this. If you don't have land, please, you can do the urban farming way, whereby you have your containers, you have your sack mounts, and have all the spices and herbs. Well, our main source of manure, what one would call fertilizer or organic fertilizer we have here, is our compost bin. A compost bin whereby we bring every single material we don't dispose of, but we recycle. So, for example, if you look at this should have been an African white eggplant, but since it wasn't consumed, we brought and dug and threw it down here. Then if you look at these are carrots that were not consumed. So instead of throwing them away, we brought them and put them in our compost bin. In our compost bin is where we recycle every single plant residue, whether slashed plant, residue of watermelons, residue of pumpkins, passion fruits, and they decompose with time. These decompose and give us a very, very good manure. I'll take an example and open up somewhere here. This is basically all plant residue, from cassava stalks to eggplant stalks to tomato stems and lots more other materials that they can decompose. So when these decompose, give us that strong, very good and nutritious manure that we pour back. So we recycle everything back to the field, and this is the reason why all the healthy watermelons that you've seen up there, all the big passion fruits, all the big papayas, and lots more that you're still going to see, ranging from maize, cassava, sukuma wiki, cabbages. This is the miracle behind. So every farmer who comes to Arua Organic Agriculture Center, we try as much as possible to share with them on how they can have a small backyard where they can pour all the residue and form a compost pit or a compost bin where they can compost every single other material that comes from their gardens and can have this very good organic manure. Remember, Arua Organic, everything that we're producing here is organically produced, and that's why we have the great big yields. Please adopt, try it at home to really give you the best yields that you need in the garden. Like I shared earlier on, we produce quite a lot of different varieties of crops, different species, over 50 different. Good agricultural practices, like I shared earlier on, are key, very important. Organic manure application, and you don't want to lose it to soil erosion. So you make sure you add a layer of mulch. This mulch helps conserve the water or improves on the water retention of the soil that you have. And at the same time, it's going to decompose and give us the organic manure too that we need. Underneath the onions, we have mulch. We have newly planted groundnuts. We have mulch. Any material can be used for mulch. Someone might be wondering what would use your maize stalks for, but this is very good mulch material. Like you've seen, this bed is well prepared. Organic manure has been added. This could be one of the pieces that have remained. And after we've mulched it, and what is next? We're coming to plant. So we share with our farmers. Bush burning is very, very bad. Burning of such residue is very, very bad. You can always recycle it and use it in the garden for mulch purposes. So, well, I could say these are the most important miracles, or I would say good agricultural practice that we use right here at Arua Organic Agriculture Center. Right here we have our beautiful maize, reached harvesting point. Maize has a lot of challenges in West Nile, whereby I'll call it the great army worm, or the great fall army worm has really affected so much the farmers outside there, whereby a majority have gotten very huge losses when it comes to maize. But if you look at our maize that we have raised and grown organically without any chemicals, you could imagine that we're getting actually the yield that we want, basically because we've learned the good practices when it comes to controlling the fall armyworm. What do? Very many farmers actually have adopted this too. Get sand on your young maize and make sure that you sprinkle in between or on the top of the maize. So the fall armyworm that is in the small maize that is growing, actually younger than this, is not really good with hard material or coarse material. So it won't feed on the soil. Eventually, it's going to starve off. So that's one of the techniques that our farmers have been using when it comes to controlling the fall armyworm in the region. But others have also gone for organic insecticides or pesticides, for example, paper mixed with ash and you spray all over. That has also helped so very much to control the fall armyworm. Then on this side, we have our cassava. Really great looking cassava. It's one of the staple foods that we have in West Nile today. Okay, from way back then. And majority of the farmers are doing it out there. But basic still is the spacing and the planting. If you can do it very, very nicely like we do it here, trust me, you will never grow. You'll never go wrong when it comes to growing cassava.
What pushed you to start something like this? What was the reason behind it? Because it's not every day someone wakes up and decides to do something like what you're doing.
Well, like I said earlier on, it's part of Meridian Tobacco Company.
Okay.
And it's a social responsibility project, a program, whereby we sat down and looked at the challenges that the farmers in West Nile are facing. One, we have a big challenge of lack of information and knowledge. The farmers here lack access to knowledge and information. Then two, they're doing things the subsistence way, the olden ways. And we have a trend where it's changing every now and then. So they are still holding on to the local ways of producing food, which is not the right thing today, because the population is growing and we're having it, boom up. Land shortage is becoming another big problem. And with the land shortage that we have today, you're not going to hold on to the olden ways of farming. Automatically, you will not get the best yield that you need out of farming.
Yeah.
So after sitting, we looked at the challenges. And we're trying so much, as much as possible to see how we can help the farmers.
Yeah. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's a tobacco company that started this. Isn't it ironic that it makes tobacco and then does organic farming? It's
not, I should say, for the purpose that, we're not only training tobacco farmers.
Okay.
We're training an entire region of West Nile and Northern Uganda. Because the problem that a tobacco farmer is facing is the same problem any other farmer who is not doing that is facing. And we only don't train tobacco, we're training the whole range, like I've said. And in the 7 years we've been as Arua Organic Agricultural Center, we've trained over 10,000 farmers on good agricultural practices, given them seeds, given them seedlings, and also followed up to find out how the training that we've given them on every other now and then has impacted and changed their lives. And I should tell you proudly that it's really amazing and it's doing a lot of wonders in the region.
Okay, that's nice. Now, speaking of CSR that you're doing, do you actually sell the products that come out?
Well, the final product that comes out, we have to sell it because we need the money to run the farm.
Yes.
But what is most important is the farmer getting the basic knowledge on how to produce what we've produced here. Yeah, that's the most important thing right now. Yes, please.
Are there any challenges that you face?
Well, challenges always there. Like I've said, it's organic. So the pests and diseases are going to come through.
Yeah.
Well, and more other small, maybe labor and so forth and so on. But now we're looking at the common point, driving, because you don't have to tell the farmer the challenges you're facing, or you just give him a hint on how to tackle the challenges that you face on the farm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. Future plans?
Future plans, yes. If you look at us right now, we've only built our concept on crop alone. So when the farmers understand crop, like they've already done, and we're looking at bringing in chicken, that's poultry, we're looking at bringing in goats, we're looking at bringing in fowls, rabbits, and lots more, so that farmers in West Nile can also have an access to Arua Organic Agricultural Center and see how they can get this knowledge at no cost, by the way, because we do this free of charge.
I love free things.
Yes.
That's really nice that it's at no cost. And now tell people how they can contact in case they want to get in touch with you at no cost,
Well, no costs, let me put it into brackets. For organizations that have funding, please, something little to support the farm running. Yes, and for those who want to contact us, we're in Arua, like I've said. Arua, that's on Pakwachi Road, after the tobacco company or the factory. That is, I think, 3 kilometers off Kampala Highway. Yeah. So please, on Facebook, you can get us at Arua Organic Agricultural Center. Then you can also check out our YouTube channel. That's Arua Organic Agric Center.
Yeah.